CPI just dropped, Bitcoin popped, and flopped. The Fed is pinned, and Trump's pulling levers like it's the art of the deal gone global. We've got breaking CPI numbers, Trump's tariff pause, the Chinese yuan collapse, and S&P Global, yes, the credit ratings giant, calling Bitcoin a neutral currency. Welcome back, I'm Rustin, and today we're connecting the dots between macro volatility, economic warfare, and Bitcoin's evolution into a global monetary standard. Did Bitcoin just win the trade war? Well, let's find out, shall we? Send it! Let's go ahead and get started with the fresh data. Year-over-year inflation came in at 2.4%, below the 2.6% expected. Core CPI also came in soft at 2.8%, down from 3.1% in February. Super core CPI services ex shelter just printed its lowest year-over-year since 2021. So now what? Well, according to some, markets are now pricing in a full percentage point of Fed cuts by year end. That's not normal. Kind of sounds like panic with a bow tie on it. And what did Bitcoin do? Up nearly 8%. Of course, everything has fallen since, but risk assets surged across the board. But here is the warning shot. Now this sounds bullish, right? The S&P posted a 9.5% gain, the 8th best day in history. Now that sounds fine, but when you begin to take a closer look at the dates, shablagoo! Just about every time we've seen this kind of rip, it followed or preceded a crisis. 1933, 2008, and 2020. This is what we call a relief rally in a storm. Now, what was the reason for the rally? Trump blinked, sort of. After throwing down a global tariff package on April 2nd, Trump reversed course and issued a 90-day pause on over 75 countries, except China. China still got hit with 125% tariffs.
China.
Trump had to prove to the world who holds all the cards.
Get him out of here.
No coach.
This isn't a retreat, it's a negotiation tactic. It gives the U.S. markets relief while keeping pressure on Beijing.
And if I could just, excuse me, Raquel, if I could just add to what the secretary said. Many of you in the media clearly missed the art of the deal. You clearly failed to see what President Trump is doing here. You tried to say that the rest of the world would be moved closer to China when in fact we've seen the opposite effect. The entire world is calling the United States of America, not China, because they need our markets, they need our consumers, and they need this president in the Oval Office to talk to them. And that's exactly why more than 75 countries have called, because the United States of America is the best place in the world to do business. And as the president has shown great courage, as the secretary has said, in choosing to retaliate against China even higher. Elena, go ahead.
Now here's where things get serious. Van Eck, managing over $115 billion, said this in their latest report. De-dollarization moves Bitcoin towards its monetary role. Bitcoin is evolving. Even Pakistan is considering mining Bitcoin with all of its surplus power. And what is this news about China, Russia, and Bitcoin? We're about to bring it home, but before we do, look at our likes.
3 or 4 times, maybe.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and give us a pen while we take a moment to shout out our sponsors that are powering this show. The Bitcoin Way. They will help you on your Bitcoin journey from start to finish. How to self-custody and protect your generational wealth. How to run a node and what wallet or signing device is best for you. How to reclaim your privacy and fine-tune your cybersecurity. Head on over to the Bitcoin Way and begin your journey toward Bitcoin sovereignty today. And if you're looking to get started, you can schedule a free 30-minute consultation using that link in the show notes. It gets lonely out here in these streets. Trying to talk to normies, trying to tell them that inflation and taxation are theft. They just don't care. Your lonely days are gone, my friends. With the Orange Pill app, you can stack friends who stack sats. It's the ultimate hub to connect with fellow Bitcoiners, find meetups, and discover every Bitcoin conference happening near you and across the country. And just in, the Orange Pill app Lightning Wallet is live. Send and receive Bitcoin at the speed of lightning. No setup, no limits, just pure sats and freedom. Bitcoin is better with friends, and now you can zap them instantly all in one app. What are you waiting for? Download the Orange Pill app today and zap your friends and favorite Bitcoiners and Bitcoin companies. And who knows, the connections you make could last a lifetime. Look at this. China,
China, China, China, China, China, China, China, China, China, China, China, China,
and Russia reportedly settling some trades in Bitcoin. Do you see why we're winning? The world is moving from USD rails to neutral ones. And look at that, the Chinese yuan just hit its lowest level since 2007. The reason? Trade war. China responded to Trump's tariffs with 84% tariffs on US goods, and the yuan is now in freefall. Arthur Hayes nailed it again. We've seen this before, 2013, 2015, and 2020. Bitcoin becomes the escape hatch. And with capital controls in China still strict, Bitcoin is one of the only ways out. Now here's the bullish signal for today. I'm not even going to talk about it. Why don't I just let S&P Global Ratings break it all down for you? Roll it!
Bitcoin hit a 2025 low on Monday, sliding alongside equities, even though President Trump had promised favourable policies that would make the US the crypto capital of the planet. So what's happened to the optimism around cryptocurrency? Well, Andrew O'Neill is Digital Assets Managing Director at S&P Global Ratings. Andrew, cryptocurrency was intended as a departure from the traditional financial system, but isn't it moving a lot like any other risky asset at the moment?
Well, Elena, thank you for having me. I think you're referring to price movements in the last few days, few weeks. Certainly, we've seen a trend where markets have moved to a risk-off paradigm in recent days, and clearly crypto has joined other asset class in that movement. I think when we come back to why crypto could be an asset that behaves differently, a lot of the assumptions behind that are things that are still developing, may over a number of years become true. But I would also highlight that then among crypto assets themselves, that there are significant differences. And when we're talking about that asset that may behave differently, that may be a hedge against currency debasement, for example, that may be uncorrelated to stocks, we're primarily focused on Bitcoin. We're focused on its characteristics as an alternate form of money. We're focused on the fact that it's decentralized, that it's geopolitically neutral, and we're starting to see adoption in that sense. So that narrative of investment appearing among institutional investors, among public sector investors, among national governments. But we are still very early in that trend. And so it's not very surprising that in an environment where investors are rapidly switching risk off in their portfolios, that we're seeing some correlation between crypto assets and other asset classes.
You don't get more official than that. And guess what? Global banks are getting ready too. Signum's executive said 2025 is the year banks start piling in once regulations are clear. It is glaringly obvious that macro game theory is on. I think Bitwise CIO Matt Hogan said it best.
There has been so much fundamentally positive news, and it's just been buried sort of in the background. We've caused ourselves to ignore it. There's the strategic Bitcoin reserve. There's the SEC pulling back on essentially every lawsuit. There's progress on stablecoin legislation. There's talk of market structure legislation. There was the White House crypto summit. These are game-changing positive developments that should put Bitcoin trading at $150,000 or $200,000 today. It's been suppressed because in the short term, this overhang of the economic uncertainty is weighing on the markets. I think if that is released, we're at new all-time highs quickly, and we're on our way to where I think we'll be at the end of the year, which is Bitcoin 200,000. So I think there's been this sort of suppression of really good news. If that suppression is removed, I think it's a coiled spring. So in that scenario, I think we do exceptionally well.
Is there anything else that needs to happen to get us to Bitcoin at 200K by the end of the year?
I don't think so. You have these three horsemen of insatiable demand for Bitcoin. You have the ETFs, which I continue to think will have strong net flows this year. You have companies. We saw MicroStrategy buying more Bitcoin. I think the number of companies buying Bitcoin is going to triple this year. I think the game theory is on. It's slower than people maybe want in this impatient crypto world, but I think countries around the world are going to be buying Bitcoin. So there is structurally more demand than supply in Bitcoin. I think all we need is to release this sort of economic gloom that's hanging over us. If we do that, I think it's straight to the races.
This isn't theory anymore. You can't impose tariffs, expand deficits, and expect the dollar to stay dominant. When the world questions treasuries, the world looks for alternatives, and that alternative is Bitcoin. Inflation is cooling, markets are volatile, tariffs are breaking the global game, and Bitcoin, it's stepping up. From supercore CPI to sovereign trade deals, Bitcoin is becoming the final boss of money. It's not just a hedge, it's the solution. If the world is shifting, well then you better shift with it. It's just something you don't want to miss. Kind of like the 2025 Bitcoin conference. Heading to Las Vegas, May 27th through the 29th at the Venetian. This is going to be absolutely massive. The biggest Bitcoin event of the year. Don't forget to use promo code SIMPLY at checkout for 10% off, and we hope to see you there. Hey, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and give us a pound by sharing the Sound Money Gospel, and don't forget to set those notifications for the best in Bitcoin delivered to you daily. Nico and Dante got some bangers coming your way, so keep your head in a swivel, and I'll catch you all next week. Love you guys. Peace.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, fuck you.